So we're here today. We're going to do a quick review of the book, Misbehaving, guys. Misbehaving. So this book written by Richard Thaler, stud in the economics field. The guy's been teaching for years and for many years at very top prestigious universities. So Richard Thaler, he also came up with the concept of behavioral economics. He founded that principle. So what was this all born from, right? He talks about a study, a little experiment that he tried with his students, where he gave them a pop midterm exam, right? And he graded it 1 to 100. But he made it super challenging because he wanted to separate the really committed and super smart from the somewhat committed and somewhat smart to the ones that weren't gonna make it at all, the ones who really didn't put a lot of effort. So he was able to distinguish that immediately. But one thing that he noticed was that he putting a score from 1 to 100, people they were totally upset. Everyone was angry that he would come up with an exam with that level of difficulty, right? And the way that they performed, most people ended up getting like in the 70s or something like that, right? But then he tried the exam again, right? But this time he said he's gonna score it up to 137, right? Next thing you know, people are scoring a 96. And with that score of 96, right, they ended up walking away happy, right? When a 96 out of 137 is still pretty much, mathematically, is pretty much the same thing as a 70, right? But something in their mind was misbehaving, right, in terms of what they thought was correct or what they thought was right. See, so behavioral economics is relative. It's relative, right? Relative the economy to people's behaviors. So he's showing here in this book many real life examples of the economy that we live in today, of and how it relates to the actions that we take every day, right? He talks about the opportunity costs, right? Opportunity costs in relation to us as humans, right? And he says as an opportunity cost, right, that the friends, they buy tickets to an event, and the day of the event there's a blizzard, so they decide not to go because of the blizzard. However, they discussed that if they had actually purchased the more expensive ticket, they would have gone, right? So this applies to you in your business, right? I want you to think about, right, your opportunity costs, right? What kind of things are you doing in your business right now that if you did invest more, you would give it more attention? You would go to the event, you would go to the seminar, you would go to the meeting, right? Does that outweigh the cost? Because maybe you're not investing or spending enough money that you should to incentivize yourself to go out there and really take and really profit as you should. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. The first exercise for today, I want everyone to write 3 experiences they've had where the opportunity cost was higher than the price, right? In other words, it costs more to not go to not take advantage of the opportunity, right? The opportunity that you missed out because of the price. So write those things down and type them in the comments. Share those with me. Love to hear those. I always comment back. I always respond. So I'm looking forward to that, right? And that kind of goes into what he was talking about, sunk cost, right? We talked about sunk cost, right, which is a macroeconomic term, but he's talking here in behavioral economics, where he's saying that the opportunity cost sometimes is parallel to the opportunity cost, right? Because the sunk cost just pretty much means money that you're not money that you didn't spend that you probably, it's pretty much like money lost, right? Maybe you put money into that gambling machine and you lost all or 90% of your money, right? So in that situation, that's an opportunity cost. That's a sunk cost, right? So sunk cost, opportunity cost related. So also write in the comments, write a time where you put money into something and it ended up becoming a sunk cost. In other words, it was spent and it was not retrieved. It kind of went down the hole, as they. He also goes into a little bit about self-control. He uses the example of the cashew, right? You're in a restaurant, they put a bowl of cashews on the table and you start to eat the cashews, right? But then you notice, right? You notice you're eating a good amount of cashews and you can't stop, right? So what you decide to do is remove the cashews, put it away somewhere so that you don't look at it, so you don't eat all the cashews, right? Or you find a way to distract yourself from eating the cashews, right? So self-control, right? The person that's sitting there with you says, well, why are you removing the bowl of cashews from the table? Why are you putting it aside, right? Why are you putting the tablecloth on it, right? Oh, I don't want to look at the cashews. Well, why not? Well, because I don't want to eat the cashews. So the person then asks you, all right, then why don't you just choose not to eat the cashews, right? So the moral to the story there is self-control is not necessarily about like having a temptation and hiding that temptation, right? Or trying to fight with yourself, prevent yourself from from trying to attempt to take an action or something, right? Or prevent a behavior, right? Self-control is quite simple. It's a choice, right? It's just a choice that you make. So same thing in your business, same thing in your personal life, same thing with your health, right? These are things. Self-control just means you can just choose. You have to have the strength in your mind to look at the bowl of cashews and just say, I prefer not to eat it, right? I'm just not gonna eat it. But if you prefer to eat the bowl of cashews, then just eat it, right? So same thing in the business. If you make a choice, you make a decision on it, make sure that you're making 100% of that control. You're applying that into the decisions that you make, right? You're applying that into the choice that you want to make, and do it confidently and do it to the extent in which you feel is necessary or that for you to get that ultimate value. So guys, I'm gonna leave you with that for today. We will talk on the next book review. Again, this is the book Misbehaving by Richard Thaler, and my name is Vinny Rodriguez, Mr. 8-Figure Vision. I will talk to you on the next book review. Have a great one. Peace and prosperity.